Have you ever felt like you're constantly running in a race where the finish line keeps moving? Like no matter how hard you try, you just can't seem to catch up, let alone feel proud of how far you've come. It's a feeling that creeps up on us, often without warning, leaving us questioning our worth, our achievements, and even our dreams. It's like we're in a never-ending battle with ourselves, trying to prove something, not just to the world, but to our own selves. And in this whirlwind of comparisons, self-doubt, and the pursuit of perfection, we lose sight of something crucial: our true value. Today, we're diving deep into a topic that touches each and every one of us, yet remains veiled in silence. The subtle signs you might be undervaluing yourself without even realizing it. It's not just about the moments of self-doubt or the days when you feel less than. It's about the underlying current that shapes the way we see ourselves and, consequently, the way we navigate our lives. Drawing from the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, we'll explore how this philosophy, with its profound insights into human nature, offers a compelling lens through which to view our self-worth. So, if you've ever caught yourself minimizing your achievements, shying away from compliments, or feeling unworthy of the dreams you harbor within, you're not alone. And more importantly, there's a way out of this maze of self-undervaluation. Stay with me as we uncover the 13 signs that might indicate you're selling yourself short and, most importantly, how you can start to turn that around. Because believe it or not, understanding and valuing your true self is the first step towards living a life that's not only fulfilling, but truly your own. 1. Constant self-comparison. Let's talk about something we've all been guilty of at some point: constant self-comparison. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's that sneaky habit of scrolling through social media, looking at everyone else's highlight reels and wondering why our own life doesn't stack up. It's seeing someone else's success and feeling like it somehow diminishes our own achievements. But here's the thing, and it's something the ancient Stoics were really onto: this endless comparison game. It's a no-win situation. The Stoics taught us about focusing on what's within our control and letting go of what isn't. And let's be honest, the achievements, lifestyles, and successes of others, totally out of our control. So why do we let it weigh so heavily on us? It's like we're voluntarily handing over our peace of mind to the unpredictable waves of others' fortunes. But here's a little Stoic wisdom to chew on. Our value, our worth, isn't determined by how we stack up against someone else. It's determined by how we live according to our own values, how we contribute to our community, and how we cultivate our own character and virtues. And I get it, breaking free from the habit of self-comparison isn't as easy as flipping a switch. It's a process, one that starts with becoming aware of when we're doing it and gently reminding ourselves that our journey is unique. It's about celebrating our own victories, no matter how small they may seem in the grand scheme of things. Every step forward, every lesson learned, is a victory in its own right. So the next time you catch yourself falling into that comparison trap, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, is this comparison serving me, or is it taking away from my peace and happiness? Remember, your value isn't defined by someone else's yardstick. It's defined by your actions, your growth, and the love and kindness you share with the world. And that, my friends, is worth more than any comparison could ever measure. 2. Difficulty. Accepting compliments. Now let's delve into a phenomenon that's surprisingly common yet often overlooked: the difficulty in accepting compliments. Have you ever noticed how a simple "you did a great job" or "you look great today" can sometimes make us squirm? Instead of just saying thank you, we downplay it with a "oh, it was nothing" or "I guess I got lucky." It's like we have this internal script that refuses to acknowledge our own worth or achievements. But why is that? Why do we struggle to accept kindness and recognition from others? The Stoics had a profound understanding of the human psyche, emphasizing the importance of knowing oneself and recognizing one's own value. They believed in the power of self-awareness and the ability to reflect on our own virtues and achievements. So, when we deflect compliments, it's not just about modesty. It's often a sign that we're not fully recognizing our own worth, or that we're uncomfortable acknowledging our strengths. Think of it this way: every time we dismiss a compliment, we're not just deflecting a kind gesture. We're subtly reinforcing the belief that we're not worthy of praise, or that our efforts don't matter. But here's a Stoic-inspired twist to consider. What if we started accepting compliments as little reminders of our own worth and the impact we have on others? What if, instead of brushing them off, we took a moment to genuinely appreciate the recognition and use it as fuel to continue growing and contributing in our own unique ways? Accepting compliments gracefully isn't just about politeness. It's about affirming your own value and the contributions you make to the world around you. So the next time someone offers you a compliment, try this. Take a deep breath, smile, and simply say, "Thank you." Let it remind you of your own worth and the difference you make. It's a small step, but it's one that can lead to a deeper appreciation of yourself and a more profound connection with those around you. Remember, you are worthy of recognition, and your contributions do matter. Let's start celebrating that, shall we? 3. Neglecting self-care. All right, let's dive into something that's incredibly important, yet so easily neglected: self-care. You've probably heard the term thrown around a lot, but let's really think about what it means and why it's so crucial. Self-care isn't just about bubble baths and spa days. It's about taking care of your mind, body, and spirit in a way that keeps you functioning at your best. It's about giving yourself the same kindness, care, and attention that you'd give to someone you love deeply. And yet, so many of us put it on the back burner. Why is that? You see, neglecting self-care is like trying to run a marathon without training or eating right. At first, you might hold up, powered by adrenaline and sheer will, but eventually, the lack of preparation and nourishment catches up with you, and you find yourself struggling to keep pace, let alone finish the race. This is what happens when we constantly push ourselves without taking the time to recharge. Our productivity, creativity, and even our relationships start to suffer. We're not robots. We're beautifully complex beings that require care and attention to thrive. The Stoics, with their wisdom, taught us the importance of harmony between the body and the mind. They believed in the value of discipline, yes, but also in the necessity of taking care of oneself to live a virtuous and fulfilling life. Neglecting self-care is essentially neglecting the very foundation upon which we build our lives. It's not about indulgence, it's about respect. Respect for ourselves and the life we've been given. So how do we shift from neglecting self-care to making it a non-negotiable part of our lives? It starts with recognition, recognizing that you are worthy of care and that taking time for yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. It's about finding what recharges you, be it quiet time, exercise, hobbies, or simply doing nothing at all, and then making that a priority. It's about setting boundaries and saying no when you need to, so you can say yes to what truly matters. Remember, taking care of yourself isn't a luxury, it's essential. It's what enables you to bring your best self to every other aspect of your life. So, let's make a pact to stop neglecting self-care. Let's treat ourselves with the same compassion and understanding that we offer others. After all, you can't pour from an empty cup. Let's fill ours up, not just for our own sake, but for everyone we care. 4. Fearing failure. All right, let's talk about a shadow that looms large in many of our lives: the fear of failure. It's that nagging voice in the back of our minds that whispers, "What if I can't do it?" or "What if I mess up?" This fear can be paralyzing, making us hesitate to take risks, try new things, or pursue our dreams. But here's the kicker: fearing failure means we're often undervaluing our own resilience and potential for growth. The Stoics, with their profound insights into human nature, offered a different perspective on failure. They saw it not as something to be feared, but as an opportunity for learning and personal development. Imagine that for a moment, viewing every setback, not as a defeat, but as a step on the path to becoming the best version of ourselves. It's a game changer, right? So, why do we fear failure so much? Often, it's because we tie our self-worth to our successes and achievements. We worry that failing at a task means we're failing as a person, but that's just not the case. Our worth isn't measured by our wins and losses, but by the courage we show in facing them. Every attempt, successful or not, is a testament to our bravery, our willingness to grow, and our commitment to living fully. Here's a thought. What if, instead of fearing failure, we embraced it? What if we saw each failed attempt as a lesson learned, a chance to refine our approach and come back stronger? This doesn't mean being reckless or not caring about outcomes. It means recognizing that failure is a natural part of the human experience, one that can teach us resilience, adaptability, and perseverance. Let's challenge ourselves to step out of our comfort zones, to try, to fail, and to try again. Let's remember that each setback is not a reflection of our worth, but a step on the journey of self-improvement. So, the next time you're faced with the possibility of failure, take a deep breath and remind yourself, it's okay to fail, it's okay to fall. What matters is that you get back up, learn from the experience, and keep moving forward, because in the grand scheme of things, the only true failure is letting the fear of it stop you from living your life to the fullest. 5. Downplaying achievements. Now let's dive into a habit that might seem humble at first glance, but is actually a big red flag for undervaluing ourselves, downplaying our achievements. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's when we accomplish something we've worked hard for, but then we brush it off like it's no big deal or attribute it to luck, rather than our own effort and skill. It's as if we're afraid to acknowledge our own success, maybe because we worry about coming off as arrogant or making others feel bad. But here's the truth. Recognizing and celebrating our achievements isn't arrogance. It's essential for our growth and self-esteem. The Stoics, with their wisdom, encouraged us to understand and appreciate our own value. They believed in the importance of self-awareness, not just of our flaws, but of our strengths and accomplishments as well. By downplaying our achievements, we're not just being modest, we're denying ourselves the opportunity to fully appreciate our own capabilities and the effort we've put into our successes. This isn't about bragging or comparing ourselves to others. It's about giving ourselves permission to feel proud and to acknowledge our progress. Think about it this way. Every achievement, big or small, is a milestone on our personal journey. It's a sign of our dedication, our resilience, and our ability to overcome challenges. When we downplay these accomplishments, we're not only undervaluing ourselves, but we're also missing out on a powerful source of motivation and confidence. Celebrating our successes helps to reinforce our sense of self-worth and encourages us to keep pushing forward, to take on new challenges, and to continue growing. So, how can we start to change this habit? Begin by acknowledging your achievements, both to yourself and, when appropriate, to others. Allow yourself to feel proud of what you've accomplished. Reflect on the journey it took to get there, the challenges you faced, the effort you put in, and the growth you experienced along the way. And remember, acknowledging your achievements doesn't mean losing humility. It means recognizing your own worth and the value of your contributions. Let's make a pact to stop downplaying our achievements. Instead, let's celebrate them as the significant milestones they are, not just for the sake of our own self-esteem, but as a beacon of encouragement for others to recognize and celebrate their own successes. After all, every achievement is a testament to our capacity to dream, to strive, and to achieve. And that's something truly worth celebrating. 6. Feeling uncomfortable talking about money. All right, let's get into a topic that's a bit taboo for many of us. Feeling uncomfortable talking about money. It's interesting, isn't it? Money is such a fundamental part of our lives, influencing our choices, our opportunities, and our sense of security. Yet, when it comes to discussing it, especially in terms of our own finances, many of us clam up, change the subject, or feel a wave of unease wash over us. But why is that? Why does talking about money make us feel so uncomfortable? The thing is, our relationship with money is complex and deeply personal. It's tied up with our upbringing, our cultural values, and our personal experiences with financial security or insecurity. For some, money is a taboo topic, wrapped up in notions of privacy or fears of judgment. We worry that talking about money might expose our vulnerabilities, our successes, or our failures. It can feel like revealing too much about our personal lives, our choices, and our values. But here's a Stoic twist for you. Discussing money openly and honestly is actually a step towards personal freedom and wisdom. It's about confronting our fears and societal taboos head-on, recognizing that our worth is not measured by our bank accounts, and understanding that open conversations about money can lead to better financial decisions, reduced anxiety, and a deeper sense of community and support. Imagine a world where we can talk about our financial struggles and successes without fear of judgment, where we can seek advice, share resources, and celebrate financial milestones openly. This doesn't mean oversharing or becoming boastful. It's about fostering an environment where honesty about financial matters is seen as healthy and normal. So, how can we start changing our mindset? Begin by reflecting on your own beliefs about money and where they come from. Challenge yourself to have open, judgment-free conversations with friends or family about financial goals, challenges, and successes. Educate yourself about financial matters, and when you feel comfortable, share your knowledge with others. Remember, being open about money isn't about revealing your salary or bank statements. It's about breaking down the barriers that keep us isolated in our financial journeys. Let's shift the narrative from discomfort and taboo to openness and empowerment. Talking about money can be a pathway to understanding, not just about finances, but about our values, our fears, and our dreams. And that, my friends, is a conversation worth having. 7. Settling for less in relationships. Now, let's talk about something that hits close to home for a lot of us: settling for less in relationships. It's a tough pill to swallow, realizing that sometimes we accept less than we deserve, whether it's in friendships, romantic relationships, or even professional connections. But why do we do it? Often it's because we underestimate our own worth, fearing that asking for more will lead us to lose what we have. But here's the thing: settling for less doesn't safeguard our relationships. It just keeps us from experiencing the ones that can truly fulfill us. The Stoics believed in the value of self-knowledge and respect as fundamental to living a good life. They would argue that understanding our worth is key to not settling in relationships. It's not about demanding perfection from everyone we meet, but recognizing when a relationship doesn't serve us, doesn't respect us, or doesn't help us grow. Think about it. When we settle for less, we're telling ourselves that we don't deserve better. But every time we do that, we miss out on opportunities to connect with people who can offer us the love, respect, and support we deserve. Settling becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy where we don't value ourselves, and thus we invite others not to value us either. But how do we break this cycle? It starts with self-reflection. Understanding what we truly value in our relationships is crucial. Do we seek respect, understanding, support, love? Once we know what we need, we can start to set boundaries that help us pursue relationships that are more fulfilling and leave behind those that aren't meeting our needs. It's also about communication. Being honest with ourselves and with our partners or friends about what we need in a relationship can open the door to deeper, more meaningful connections. It's okay to ask for what you need and to walk away from situations where you're consistently undervalued. Remember, settling for less in relationships often comes from a place of fear. Fear of being alone, fear of not finding something better. But embracing our worth and understanding that we deserve meaningful, supportive relationships is the first step towards not settling. It's about believing that we are worthy of love and respect, and that it's okay to seek out people who will give us just that. So let's make a promise to ourselves to stop settling for less than we deserve in our relationships. Let's seek out connections that uplift us, challenge us, and make us happy. Because at the end of the day, we all deserve to be in relationships that bring out the best in us, not ones that hold us back. 8. Not setting boundaries. The art of not setting boundaries, a topic that's both incredibly important and often overlooked. It's like leaving the doors of your house wide open and then wondering why you're feeling overwhelmed and invaded. Boundaries are the invisible lines that define what is okay and what is not okay for us, covering everything from our time and energy to our personal space and emotional well-being. Without them, we're like a city without walls, vulnerable to every passerby's whims and fancies. The Stoics, with their emphasis on self-control and personal autonomy, would have been big proponents of setting boundaries. They believed in knowing what is within our power to change and what is not, and surely how we allow others to treat us falls into the former category. Setting boundaries is about respecting ourselves enough to say no when something doesn't align with our values or when it compromises our well-being. It's recognizing that our needs and feelings are valid and worth protecting. So, why do we struggle with setting boundaries? Often it's because we fear the consequences. We worry about upsetting others, being seen as selfish, or even losing relationships. But here's a counterpoint. Relationships that require you to erase your boundaries to maintain them are not relationships that respect you. True connection thrives on mutual respect and understanding, not on the suppression of one's needs for the sake of another's. Setting boundaries is also a form of self-care. It's about giving ourselves the space to grow, to rest, and to pursue our passions. It's about not letting our lives become cluttered with commitments, expectations, and energies that don't serve us. And yes, setting boundaries can be uncomfortable. It requires honesty, clarity, and sometimes a bit of courage. But the peace and respect it brings to your life are worth it. Start small. Identify areas of your life where you feel stretched too thin, disrespected, or overwhelmed. Communicate your needs clearly and without apology. Remember, setting boundaries is not about issuing ultimatums. It's about communicating your needs and expectations in a way that respects both you and the other person. And for those on the receiving end of a boundary, respect it. It's a sign of trust and honesty in the relationship. Boundaries aren't walls meant to keep people out. They're gates that allow for healthy interactions, ensuring that relationships are built on a foundation of mutual respect and understanding. Let's normalize setting boundaries as an act of self-respect and a crucial component of healthy relationships. It's not selfish, it's necessary for our well-being and growth. By doing so, we not only honor ourselves but also set the stage for more honest, respectful and fulfilling interactions with others. 9. Overworking without purpose. Diving into the grind without a clear purpose might just be one of the most common traps we fall into. It's like being on a hamster wheel, running faster and faster, but for what? Overworking without purpose isn't just about the long hours. It's about the why behind them. Are we chasing a dream, fulfilling a passion, or just ticking boxes because we think that's what we're supposed to do? Here's the thing. Stoicism teaches us about the importance of living a purposeful life, one where our actions align with our values and goals. But when we're caught up in the endless cycle of overwork, it's easy to lose sight of why we started in the first place. We end up sacrificing our health, relationships, and, ironically, our happiness in the pursuit of what exactly? The problem with overworking without purpose is that it's unsustainable. It leads to burnout, a sense of emptiness, and the nagging feeling that we're missing out on life. But here's the kicker. Realizing that we have the power to step off that wheel is the first step towards change. It's about asking ourselves the tough questions. What am I working towards? Does this align with my personal values and goals? Is there a more balanced way to achieve my ambitions? Finding purpose in our work doesn't mean we need to quit our jobs and travel the world, though if that's your dream, more power to you. It means taking a step back to evaluate what we want our work to contribute to our lives. Maybe it's financial security, maybe it's helping others, or maybe it's a stepping stone to a bigger goal. Whatever it is, identifying it can transform our relationship with work. So, how do we start? It begins with self-reflection. Take the time to understand what truly matters to you. Set goals that resonate with your values and aspirations, and remember, it's okay to say no. No to endless overtime, no to projects that don't align with your goals, and no to sacrificing your well-being for the sake of work. Embrace the idea that it's not about working harder, but smarter. Work with purpose, work with intention, and most importantly, work in a way that leaves room for the other facets of your life to flourish. Because at the end of the day, we work to live, not live to work. Let's make sure we're living a life worth working for. 10. Ignoring your passions. Now let's dive deep into something that truly resonates with the core of who we are. Ignoring our passions. It's a tale as old as time, really. We grow up dreaming, imagining and yearning for the things that set our souls on fire. But somewhere along the way, those dreams often get sidelined. Responsibilities, practicalities, and the ever-daunting fear of failure whisper to us that our passions are just hobbies, not something to take seriously. But let me ask you this. What if those whispers are wrong? Ignoring your passions is like silencing the most authentic part of yourself. It's not just about missing out on fun or hobbies. It's about neglecting the very essence of what makes you, you. The Stoics, wise as they were, preached about living in accordance with nature. Your own nature, that is. They believed in the pursuit of a life where your actions and your essence are in harmony. And guess what? Your passions are a huge part of that essence. Think about how alive you feel when you're doing something you love. There's a reason for that. Your passions ignite your spirit, energize your being, and bring you closer to your true self. They're not just whims, they're your personal callings, guiding you towards fulfillment and, dare I say, happiness. So, why do we ignore them? Fear, mostly. Fear of not being good enough, fear of judgment, fear of financial instability. But here's a Stoic counterpoint. Is the fear of pursuing your passion greater than the regret of never having tried? Imagine looking back on your life, not with a sense of accomplishment or fulfillment, but with the lingering question, what if? Starting to listen to your passions doesn't mean you have to make dramatic life changes overnight. It starts with small steps. Carve out a little time each day or week to dedicate to what you love. Experiment, explore, and allow yourself the freedom to enjoy your passion without pressure or expectation. And remember, your passions can also evolve. They're not static. As you grow and change, so too might the things that light you up. And that's okay. The key is to stay connected with yourself, to check in regularly and ask, what excites me? What do I feel passionate about right now? Let's make a commitment to ourselves to stop ignoring our passions. Let's honor them, nurture them, and integrate them into our lives. Because at the end of the day, a life fueled by passion is a life that's richly lived. And isn't that what we're all striving for? 11. Not asking for help. Let's tackle a topic that's particularly tough for a lot of us. Not asking for help. This is something that, at one point or another, we've all struggled with. There's this notion floating around in our society that asking for help is a sign of weakness, that it somehow means we're not capable or self-sufficient. But let's flip that script for a moment and look at it through a Stoic lens. The Stoics were all about wisdom, and what's wiser than recognizing when we're in over our heads and could use some support? Not asking for help doesn't make us stronger, it isolates us. It's like being stranded on an island and watching ships pass by in the distance, but never lighting the signal fire. We're social beings, wired for connection, and there's incredible strength in vulnerability. Asking for help isn't a burden. It's an invitation for others to engage with us in a meaningful way, to build stronger, more supportive communities. The truth is, we all have unique strengths and weaknesses. It's the balance of these traits within our communities that allows us to thrive. When we try to go it alone, we not only deny ourselves the support we need, but also deny others the opportunity to offer their strengths. It's a two-way street. Just as we have much to gain from the support of others, we also have much to offer. So, why do we hesitate? Fear of rejection, not wanting to impose, pride. These are all common reasons. But think about how you feel when someone reaches out to you for help. More often than not, it feels good to be trusted, to be able to support someone else. It's time we allow others to experience that feeling too. Starting to ask for help can begin with small steps. It might be as simple as asking a colleague for advice on a project, reaching out to a friend when you're feeling down, or seeking professional guidance when you're truly stuck. Each act of reaching out strengthens our ability to connect and builds our resilience. Let's challenge ourselves to view asking for help not as a weakness, but as a profound act of courage and wisdom. It's an acknowledgement that we are all interdependent, that our individual success is tied to the support and collaboration of those around us. By opening up, we allow our relationships to deepen, our burdens to lighten, and our communities to grow stronger. So, the next time you're hesitating to ask for help, remember, it's not just about you. It's about allowing others to be part of your journey, to share in your challenges and your triumphs. And there's nothing more powerful than that. 12. Minimizing your own needs. Today, let's dive into a topic that hits close to home for many of us: minimizing our own needs. It's a subtle art we've mastered, often without even realizing it. We tell ourselves that our needs aren't as important as those of others, that we should be more flexible, more accommodating. But here's the thing, constantly putting ourselves last isn't a badge of honor. It's a recipe for burnout and resentment. The Stoics, with their profound wisdom, taught us about the importance of self-care and self-respect. They believed in the value of knowing oneself and understanding one's needs as a cornerstone of living a balanced and fulfilling life. By minimizing our needs, we're not just neglecting ourselves, we're undermining our capacity to be there for others. You can't pour from an empty cup, as the saying goes. Acknowledging and addressing our needs isn't selfish, it's necessary. It's about giving ourselves the same compassion and consideration that we extend to others. This doesn't mean becoming self-centered. Rather, it's about recognizing that our needs are valid and worthy of attention. When we take care of ourselves, we're in a better position to support those around us, to engage with our work more effectively, and to enjoy our lives more fully. So, why do we do it? Why do we minimize our own needs? Often, it's because we've internalized the idea that self-sacrifice equals virtue. But there's a fine line between selflessness and self-neglect. The key is finding balance. It's about setting boundaries, saying no when we need to, and yes to what truly matters to us. Starting to prioritize your needs might feel uncomfortable at first. It requires tuning in to what you really want and need, and then communicating that to others. It's about making time for yourself, whether that's for rest, hobbies, or simply doing nothing at all. And it's about recognizing that taking care of your needs is the foundation upon which you can build a life of purpose, contribution, and joy. Let's challenge the notion that minimizing our needs is virtuous. Instead, let's embrace a philosophy of balanced self-care, where our needs sit equally alongside those of others. It's a journey of self-discovery, of learning to value ourselves as much as we value others. And on this journey, we might just find that by honoring our own needs, we become stronger, happier, and more capable of making a positive impact in the world. Remember, your needs matter. They're not an inconvenience, but a vital part of who you are. By acknowledging and addressing them, you're not only respecting yourself, but also enriching your relationships and the world around you. Let's make a commitment to no longer minimize our needs, but to honor them as essential to our well-being and our ability to thrive. 13. Ignoring your intuition. How many times have you had a gut feeling about something only to brush it aside and later realize it was spot on? Ignoring our intuition is like disregarding an internal compass that's trying to guide us through life's complexities. This inner voice, this subtle nudge, is more than just a fleeting thought. It's a powerful tool for navigating decisions, relationships, and opportunities, yet so often we underestimate its value. Our intuition is the culmination of our experiences, emotions, and subconscious observations. It's that quiet whisper, or sometimes a loud alarm that signals when something feels right or terribly wrong. The Stoics, with their emphasis on wisdom and understanding, recognized the importance of listening to one's inner guide. They believed that to live in accordance with nature, one must also be in tune with oneself. In today's fast-paced world, we're bombarded with advice, data, and societal expectations. It's easy to get lost in the noise and overlook the wisdom that resides within us. We rationalize away our instincts in favor of logical reasoning or external validation. But how many times has logic led us astray, or the approval of others left us feeling unfulfilled? Ignoring our intuition doesn't just lead us to miss out on potential opportunities. It can also steer us into situations that don't align with our true selves. Embracing our intuition means pausing to listen and trust in our inner knowing. It's acknowledging that, while not infallible, our instincts offer a perspective that deserves consideration. It involves giving ourselves the space to feel, to question, and to reflect without immediate judgment or dismissal. When we start to pay attention, we might be surprised at how attuned we are to what's truly right for us. Let's challenge ourselves to honor our intuition. It starts with small steps, trusting those gut feelings about people or decisions, paying attention to physical reactions that might signal comfort or alarm, and reflecting on past instances where our intuition was spot on. By fostering this inner connection, we enhance our self-awareness and empower ourselves to make choices that are more aligned with our authentic paths. Ignoring our intuition is like walking through life with a blindfold. It's time to take it off and trust the vision that comes from within. Our intuition is a profound source of guidance, wisdom, and insight. Let's give it the voice and respect it deserves, making it an integral part of our decision-making process. After all, the journey towards self-discovery and authenticity begins with listening to and trusting ourselves. As we close this journey through the signs of undervaluing oneself and the wisdom of Stoicism, remember, the journey to self-appreciation and understanding is ongoing. It's about embracing every part of ourselves, listening to our inner voice, and honoring our needs and boundaries. It's about understanding that while the path may not always be clear, the journey itself holds the promise of growth, discovery, and fulfillment. Let this be a reminder that you are enough, just as you are. Your value isn't contingent on external achievements or the validation of others. It's rooted deep within you, in your actions, your character, and your ability to overcome and grow from the challenges life throws your way. So as we part ways today, don't let the conversation end here. Dive deeper into the wisdom of Stoicism and explore how it can transform your life. On the screen, you'll see two playlists: Stoic Life Lessons and Stoic Habits. Each is packed with insights and strategies to help you navigate life's challenges with grace, resilience, and a deeper sense of purpose. Click on one to continue your journey toward a more fulfilled and Stoic-inspired life. Remember, the greatest journey is the one within. Thank you for joining me on this journey today. Here's to living a life that's true to ourselves, enriched by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism.